The Airbus A380 was supposed to be the king of the skies, a plane that could stuff 853 passengers inside, fly them halfway around the world, and make airlines rich on the busiest routes. It cost $445 million brand new, yet by 2025, almost half the fleet is already parked in deserts or scrapped, while the tiny A320 that costs only $110 million and seats just 180 people max has more than 18,000 orders, and Airbus still can't build them fast enough. So what killed the giant and made the little guy unstoppable? Today we're putting these two completely different Airbus planes head-to-head, category by category, so you can see exactly why one became a legend and the other became a museum piece. First, let's talk size, because this is where your brain breaks a little. The A380 is 73 meters long. That's longer than 2 basketball courts end-to-end. The wingspan is almost 80 meters, so wide that airports had to widen taxiways and build bigger gates just for it. It stands 24 meters tall, basically an 8-story building with wings. When you stand next to one, the engines are literally at second-floor height. The tail alone is taller than an A320 from the ground to its roof. The A320? It's 37.6 meters long, wingspan 35.8 meters with the sharklets, and only 11.8 meters tall. You can park 3 A320s nose to tail in the length of one A380 and still have room left over. The A380 has 4 massive engines. The A320 has 2 that look tiny in comparison. If the A380 is a whale, the A320 is a dolphin, fast, nimble, and everywhere. Next, passenger capacity and how the cabin actually feels. A typical A380 in 4 classes carries around 525 passengers. Emirates does 615 with showers and a bar upstairs in first class. In full economy mode, you can squeeze 853 people in, though nobody really does that anymore. You get 2 full-length decks, quiet cabins because the engines are so far away, and space that feels almost unreal. The upper deck on Emirates feels like a private jet because it's narrower and cozier. Even in economy, the seats are usually 18.5 inches wide, sometimes 19, and the ceiling feels miles away. The A320 in a normal 2-class layout seats 150 to 165, and the absolute maximum certified is 194 seats if the airline cramps 29-inch pitch and extra exits. That's it. The cabin is 3.7 meters wide, 1 aisle, 6 seats per row. On a full Ryanair or Spirit A320, you're packed in tight, 28-inch pitch, knees touching the seat in front. It's loud because the engines are right under the wing next to the windows. No showers, no bar, no standing room. Just a tube that gets you from A to B. Engines, this is where it gets interesting. The A380 has 4 engines, either Rolls-Royce Trent 900 or Engine Alliance GP 7200. Each one produces between 70,000 and 84,000 pounds of thrust. That's insane. One single A380 engine makes more power than all 4 engines combined on the very first Boeing 747 from 1969. To move 560 tons off the ground, it needs that power, but once it's cruising, it's actually sipping fuel for how many people it carries. The A320 originally flew with CFM56 engines making 27,000 pounds each, but almost every new one now gets either CFM LEAP 1A or Pratt & Whitney PW1100G geared turbofans that push up to 35,000 pounds each. The LEAP engines are 15 to 20% more efficient than the old CFM56. They have ceramic blades that can handle crazy temperatures, carbon fiber fan blades, and that wild spinning rear fan on the Pratt engines that looks like it's going backwards. 2 engines total, that's it. Losing one on an A320 is no big deal. The plane was designed from day one to fly long distances on a single engine if needed. Range, how far can they actually go?
A standard A380 with 525 passengers can fly 8,000 nautical miles non-stop. That's London to Perth, Dubai to Los Angeles, Singapore to New York, no problem. Emirates still does 14 to 16-hour flights like clockwork. The longest version with lighter materials pushed past 8,800 miles. The A320neo can do 3,500 to 4,200 nautical miles, depending on how heavy it is. That's New York to Hawaii, Lisbon to Boston, Dubai to most of Europe or Southeast Asia. It's not built for ultra-long haul, but it's perfect for 4 to 7 hour flights that make up 80% of all passenger trips. Fuel burn. This is the part everyone gets wrong. People love to say the A380 guzzles fuel, but per passenger, it's actually one of the most efficient planes ever built. Airbus says around 2.9 to 3.1 liters per 100 passenger kilometers. That's better than most cars with 4 people inside. A fully loaded 525-seat A380 burns about 11 to 12 tons of fuel per hour at cruise. The A320neo burns roughly 2.5 to 2.7 tons per hour total with 165 people. Per seat, it's slightly worse than the A380 when the big plane is full, but the A380 almost never flies completely full, and when it flies half empty, it becomes a fuel hog. That's one reason airlines ditched it. Load factors have to be sky high to make money. Operating costs and airport reality. An A380 costs about $25,000 to $30,000 just to start the engines and push back, before you even move. Crew is bigger, maintenance on 4 engines is double the cost of 2, and it needs 3,600 to 4,000 meters of runway and reinforced pavement. Only about 60 airports worldwide can handle it properly without restrictions. Gate time is longer, boarding takes forever, even with 2 decks, and if your flight is delayed, the knock-on effect is massive. An A320 costs maybe $3,000 to $4,000 per hour to run. It can land on 1,800-meter runways, turn around in 35 minutes, and fly 6 or 7 legs a day. Almost every commercial airport on Earth can take it, no special equipment needed. That flexibility is gold for airlines. Passenger experience, totally different vibes. On an A380, the ride is smooth and quiet. You barely hear the engines even at takeoff. The cabin pressure is set lower so you feel less tired. Emirates has onboard showers, a lounge bar, huge seats upstairs. It's the closest thing to a cruise ship in the sky. Even in economy, this space feels generous. The A320 is an A320. It's quick, the takeoff roll feels punchy because it's light, but you hear every flap and gear movement. Turbulence feels sharper because the plane is smaller and the wings flex less. On a budget carrier, it can be brutal, but on a good airline with 32-inch pitch and Wi-Fi, it's perfectly fine for 4 hours. Market reality in 2025. Only 251 A380s were ever built. Production ended in 2021. Emirates took the most at 123, but even they're slowly retiring them. British Airways, Lufthansa, Singapore, Qantas, most have parked or sold theirs. Some are being broken up for parts at age 12 to 15, which is crazy for an airliner. The A320 family, over 11,000 delivered, another 7,000 plus on order. Airbus builds 50 to 60 a month and still can't keep up. Every low-cost carrier, every regional route, every new airline starts with A320s. The Neo version alone has crushed the competition. Why did this happen? Air travel changed. Back in the 1990s, everyone thought mega hubs would get bigger and people would connect through places like Dubai or Singapore forever. The A380 was built for that world. Then low-cost carriers exploded. Point-to-point routes took over, and twins like the A350 and 787 made long-haul direct flights cheaper. Slots at crowded airports became the real limit, not plane size. An airline can fly 3 A320s for the price and slots of 1 A380 and carry the same number of people across a day, spread out with higher load factors. Summary time. The A380 is the most impressive passenger plane ever engineered. Size, comfort, efficiency when full, sheer presence. But it came at the wrong time for the wrong market. The A320 is simple, cheap to run, flexible, and fits the way people actually fly today. One is a beautiful dinosaur, the other is still evolving with every new order. If you like this breakdown, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.